Both Guardians of the Galaxy movies have been fantastic to date, so excitement is understandably almost palpable for the third. Since James Gunn's dramatic firing from the project thanks to historic tweets that were controversial to say the least.
Really?
Even more people are talking about this cosmic sequel. In this video, we'll run you through just some of the theories fans have conceived about it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of ScreenRant's great new videos.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
James Gunn will return. As we touched upon in the introduction, James Gunn has been sacked by Disney and is no longer in line to direct the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Tweets were unearthed from several years ago in which Gunn made jokes about some very controversial subjects. While a minority agree with Gunn's firing, the majority of fans think it was harsh, as does his brother Sean, who recently came to his defense quite passionately. While the tweets were clearly in bad taste, they were merely written in jest, and Disney was actually already aware of them when they originally hired him. With that in mind, there's a theory that he will actually be rehired and will take his rightful position at the helm of Volume 3, which he of course did actually write. His rehiring would obviously come with a public humbling and apology, even after the very heartfelt apology he already posted on Twitter. But it's fair to say most fans would be happy with it. Gunn is synonymous with the franchise, and quite frankly, a third Guardians movie just wouldn't be the same without him.
I shall meet my foe!
Drax won't be in it. You'll no doubt be aware of the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy star Dave Bautista began his show business career as a world-renowned wrestler. Although he retired in 2014, there have been rumors from a number of sources that he's seriously considering a full-time professional wrestling return. While this is undoubtedly great news for wrestling fans, it could result in huge disappointments for fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as it's resulted in a theory that he'll be missing from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Bautista has yet to comment on any such rumors himself, but his potential permanent return to the world of wrestling could result in a devastating fate for Drax in the fourth Avengers movie. Drax was one of the many MCU heroes to perish when Thanos snapped his fingers in Avengers Infinity War, but he'll no doubt still have a big role in the sequel. In the comics, Drax was created specifically to kill the Mad Titan, and has the motive of avenging his family in the MCU, so he could definitely be the man to finish the villain off in the franchise. The green-tattooed Guardian could end up sacrificing himself to ensure the prune-chinned villain is destroyed, and that would obviously result in him being absent in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Star-Lord.
Peter Quill's sister. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, audiences were introduced to Peter Quill's father, Ego, played by Kurt Russell. However, there's a theory that another member of Peter's family might have been introduced into the movie, being one of his half-sisters. And this revelation will be made in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We say one of because Peter actually had countless half-siblings, all of whom Ego killed when he realized they weren't carrying the celestial gene. But could he have kept another one of them alive in the form of Mantis? In the movie, Mantis told the Guardians that Ego found her in a larva state on her home planet. But what was Ego doing on her planet in the first place? Considering his life motive was to find a celestial offspring, he may have been there searching for her. Even though Ego tended to kill his children when it was confirmed that they didn't possess celestial powers, he may well have changed his mind when he realized that Mantis possessed abilities that could be of benefit to him. Family has always been a major theme in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, so it makes sense for Peter to lose a father and gain a sister.
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
A new and old team-up. Michael Rooker's Yondu Udanta sacrificed his own life to save that of Peter Quill's, a character that Yondu looked at like a son in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. While he was still working for Marvel Studios, James Gunn was skeptical about signing on for Volume 3, because he has yet to direct a movie without Rooker in it. That immediately made fans think Gunn would find a way to include Rooker in the third installment. And if this theory turns out to be true, the former Walking Dead star will be in it, whether Gunn's at the helm or not. Some fans believe that Yondu will prominently feature in flashbacks during Volume 3, because the movie will look into the backstory of the team of Ravagers, who are considered to be the first Guardians of the Galaxy and who could team up with a newer lineup against a common foe in their third movie. Both Guardians movies to date have opened with scenes set in the past. Therefore, it's likely that the opening scene of Volume 3 will feature Yondu when he was part of that team years back before the bulk of the movie will be set.
You shouldn't have killed my mom and squished my Walkman.
Peter Quill's powers. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it was revealed that because Peter Quill's father was Ego, a celestial being, Peter had actually inherited some amazing celestial powers, which were shut down when Ego died as his death cut Peter's connection to the source of his power. However, according to one theory, there's still a huge part of Ego just hanging out in the universe. The theory came to be because of the fact that MCU fans have deciphered that space coordinates in Guardians of the Galaxy movies can be translated into hidden clues by swapping out the numbers for letters of the alphabet. For example, coordinates for Earth spell out shh, Dark Aster reveals the phrase, "This is Mom's cancer," and Knowhere's coordinates are Meredith Quill X. Fans have interpreted the last phrase as meaning Meredith Quill's ex-partner, who just so happens to be Ego. Knowhere is, of course, located inside the decapitated head of a giant ancient celestial being, and this theory suggests it could be a part of an old body that was previously used by Ego. If that's the case, it could be the key to unlocking Peter's powers again.
Nova Prime.
Nova. This one's less of a theory and more of an assumption based on what James Gunn and Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige have said in the past. But given that it isn't yet confirmed to happen, it is, in theory, still theoretical. It's the idea that Nova, aka Richard Rider, will appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Fans have wanted to see the character in the MCU for years now, especially since the Nova Corps appeared in the first Guardians movie of 2014, and even more so since the Corps were annihilated off-screen in this year's Avengers Infinity War. Nova's origins in the comics coincided with the destruction of the Nova Corps, so it makes sense that he would appear in the MCU now that the live-action version of the Corps are no more. Gunn's exact words about his potential inclusion in the third movie were, "Nova comes up occasionally as someone we might use." Feige said that there was an immediate potential for a Nova movie, and having the character appear alongside the Guardians first would be a great idea. In much the same way Spider-Man and Black Panther were established in the franchise before their first solo offerings.
Who?
Quasar. On June 12, 2017, James Gunn posted an extremely random and cryptic message on Twitter. The director's tweet said, "For some reason, I'm just remembering now that as a kid my family's VCR had wood paneling," and it included an image of an old-style VCR. However, if you look closely at the image, you can see that it's a picture of a Quasar VCR. Gunn was working on the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 script at the time, and a number of fans have theorized that Gunn was teasing the fact that Quasar will be appearing in the upcoming movie. It kind of makes sense for the character to appear in a Guardians film. Wendell Vaughn is a space-based cosmic hero, after all. If you're unfamiliar with Vaughn, he became Quasar when he obtained the powerful quantum bands, which were in the possession of S.H.I.E.L.D., while he was working for the espionage organization as a security detail. He gained massive energy manipulation abilities and is a major threat to any supervillain who has nefarious intentions. He'd be an excellent addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he could potentially join the Avengers going forward in the franchise.
It's about damn time.
Moondragon. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is starting to introduce more female characters, which is a very welcome thing that fans of the franchise couldn't be happier about. The Wasp became the first to have her name in an MCU movie's title when this year's Ant-Man and the Wasp was released. And next year we'll see Captain Marvel becoming the first female character to have her own solo movie. But in general, more females are starting to appear. Indeed, the Guardians of the Galaxy have 2 female members in Gamora and Mantis, or 3 if you want to include Nebula. And this theory suggests that they could be getting another one in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The theory is that Moondragon will become the latest member of the team. The character has strong links to the likes of Thanos and Drax in the comics, and she'd add some much-needed telepathy to the MCU. Apart from the Scarlet Witch's mysterious mind-manipulating magical abilities and Mantis's empathic powers, there isn't much in the way of psionic power in the franchise, and things like mind control are completely lacking. Moondragon's introduction would change that, and adding such vast psionic powers to the heroic ranks of the MCU would be most welcome and help them out greatly in their ongoing fight against evil. Venom. The deal between Marvel Studios and Sony that allowed Spider-Man to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe has also resulted in a theory that Venom could in some way potentially appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's no secret that Venom has a solo movie coming out this year, with Tom Hardy in the starring role. The movie is intended to be the first film in Sony's Marvel Universe, which is said to exist adjunct to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's generally believed that the idea is for it to be a part of the MCU as far as Sony are concerned, that it might not directly be referenced in MCU movies and vice versa. However, there are some ways the two franchises could loosely connect to each other. One idea is that a Venom-style symbiote could be shown on screen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, as the titular team explore the cosmos. The tenuous link could then be potentially expanded on in the future, should Marvel Studios and Sony come to a deal that allows Venom to more directly link to the MCU. It's an intriguing prospect anyway. The Venom we know has been a member of the Guardians in the comics after all.
Take my hand, Peter.
All of the Guardians will die. When the recently fired James Gunn was speaking about the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he was quoted as saying this: "One of the things I'm doing with creating Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that will take place after the next two Avengers movies, and it will help to set up the next 10 to 20 years of Marvel movies. It's going to really expand the universe. We're going to be setting up new characters. It will be the last movie of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That could easily mean that new characters are added, such as those we mentioned in this very video. Or it could mean that there will be some deaths or departures from the current ranks. But it could also mean that the entire team will be killed off, which is what this theory suggests is going to happen." Gunn has actually reiterated many times that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the last time fans get to see the current Guardians team. So could it be that the entire roster will die? It's a genuinely crazy theory, but one that would round off a Guardians trilogy in an appropriate fashion, especially if the team dies when saving the universe from yet another immensely powerful threat like Ego.
We'll follow your lead, Star-Lord.
And that's the end of our video. Did you enjoy it? What do you think of these Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 theories? Do you have any of your own? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ScreenRant for more great videos just like this one. Bye for now.